Alright, I'm not gonna lie. I'm super pumped for today's movie. While I'm definitely an Alien fan over Predator, even I can't deny that the idea of being hunted down by a predator is enough to make me question things. This is 2022's Prey. Spoiler alert, while I might be giving you my opinion on the film, that's no substitute for watching it for yourself. Links to the film are in the description. And for those of you that need to hear this is just a movie. All stunts are for the sake of story and shouldn't be attempted on your own. No animals were harmed in the making of this film. Viewer discretion is advised. We open up to Naru starting the story, and she speaks of a monster that arrived a long time ago. We look out over the open plains until we come to a tribe where Naru is sleeping. Someone comes out to her teepee to kick her awake, and her dog greets her as she gets ready to leave. Once Naru is outside, we see that the rest of the tribe seems to be waking up to accomplish their chores for the day. Naru heads out to gather some food, but she gets distracted as she trains throwing her tomahawk at a nearby tree. Just then, Naru spots a deer grazing nearby, and she gets ready to take it down. Something seems to spook the deer, and she goes running with her puppy to get it. She winds up missing her throw, and Sari actually gets caught in a trap. After Naru sets her free, she rubs a salve on the wound on her tail, and everything seems to go back to normal. She inspects the trap closely, but she can't quite seem to figure it out. Suddenly, a pop and rumble seems to come from the sky above, and Naru walks out to a clearing to look up at the sky. Okay, Naru's not surprised enough to see an alien ship crashing out of the sky. Even nowadays, this would be the highlight of someone's life, and Naru is just standing there like it's just another bad thunderstorm headed her way. She's probably never seen anything like this come out of the sky aside from a hawk or an eagle. Afterwards, Naru goes hunting with Tob, and he shows her how to actually get it done. Naru tells Tob about the ship in the sky, and she thinks that it's a Thunderbird that's a sign for her to be ready. Tob isn't so sure that she's ready for it, though. Naru heads back to the village afterwards, and she makes her way past everyone as they finish their tasks. Back at her teepee, she guts her fish with Aruka, and they enjoy a bit of conversation while Sari enjoys some fishtail. Aruka brings up Naru's father as she sharpens her tomahawk, and she can't understand why she doesn't want to do something other than hunting. Just then, Tob shows up with his bird, and Aruka sends her to gather more herbs. Apparently, the predator ship dropped off one of their own, and he's camouflaged and ready to go. Naru goes to gather the herbs, and after that, she notices the tribe is getting ready for a hunt. The hunters head out into the forest, but they don't know that they're also being hunted now. Naru goes to join the others, and Tob manages to convince the others that they could use her. Meanwhile, the predator is establishing itself on the food chain with a rattlesnake. Back with the hunting party, they seem to be getting closer to their prize, and sure enough, Naru helps them track down an injured member of their tribe. They got there just in time too, as the man's wounds seem to be getting infected. While Naru treats the man's wounds, the other members create a gurney to carry the man back. Now that night's fallen, who in their right mind would think that it's an ideal time to go hunting for what they think is a lion? And why would you split up? It literally just hit me that they never actually visually saw a lion. They were just following trails of poop. What if it was predator poop? At some point along the trail, Sari notices something, and Naru finds the dead rattler that the predator left behind. After seeing this, Naru decides that she needs to warn Tob, and the hunting party sends one of their own to follow her. When she runs into Tob, she tries to warn him about the huge tracks that she found, but he's more preoccupied with the lion. Naru comes up with a plan to bait the lion in, and Tob agrees. They set the trap, and he tells Naru that this is her moment. The 3 tribe members wait in a nearby tree, and the other members try to scare Naru. Suddenly, the lion comes out of nowhere and kills him. I can't say that I'm not happy to have that guy gone, but holy crap, the lion came out of nowhere. That was definitely a shock to the system. When the lion comes to Naru, she gets distracted by a predator light, and she falls out of the tree. She goes unconscious, and she wakes up back in her teepee. Aruka tells her that Tob carried her all the way back, and she makes sure that Naru knows that her place is here. Just then, Tob arrives back at the tribe with the lion and its head. Shortly after, there's a ceremony to celebrate Tob's success. After a quick heart-to-heart to try and put Naru in her place, the tribe goes to sleep. In the morning, Naru is kicked awake again, and life goes on as usual. This time, Naru decides to go down her own way to hunt the lightning in the trees that she saw the night before. Eventually, she finds some predator blood on a stump next to another huge track. Meanwhile, the predator is getting into a fight with a hungry wolf. This wolf gets points. He can sense or smell the invisible predator, and he even manages to wound the guy. We've seen crazier creatures not be able to land a single hit. This is a short-lived battle though, as the predator literally pulls the wolf's head and spine out of its body. Eventually, Naru comes across a whole field of dead buffalo, who have their fur and skin melted off. Naru performs final rites for the animals, and she investigates the scene. Then Naru starts to sink in a bog while the predator comes across the bison and a cigar. Eventually, Naru manages to pull herself out, and she and Sari come across a bear feasting. Naru takes aim, but her bowline snaps. The bear chases after Sari while Naru fixes her bow. But when she goes to join Sari, she ends up having to try and swim away into a beaver dam. While Naru hunkers down inside, the predator shows up just in time to kill the bear, and Naru escapes down the stream. Imagine that being your first encounter with a predator. Not entirely sure if I'd rather deal with the predator or that terrible bear. That bear looked like the Moby Dick of all bears. Eventually, Naru runs into a search party of members that are looking for her, but when she tries to leave, the leader tries to attack her. The two of them get into it, and they wind up escorting her on the way back home. Soon after, there's rustling in the bushes, and soon, 3 little red dots pop up. That's a sure sign to abandon whatever mission's going on, and now we finally get our look at the predator. This thing is awesome. This is by far the coolest predator design I've ever seen. While the predator is killing the search party members, Naru runs, and she eventually runs into Tob, who has her hide in the tall grass. Little does the guy know that the predator is tracking her heat signature. Just as he gets ready to shoot an arrow, Naru helps him dodge the predator's attack. They run further into the field, but the predator manages to kill the other guy. Suddenly, Naru gets caught up in the bear trap from before, and the predator inspects the trap. At the same time, French hunters show up and knock Naru out. When she comes to, she's locked up and can hear the Frenchmen having a good time. Suddenly, a Frenchman who can speak Naru's language pops up, and he begs them for more time with her. As time passes, it seems like the Frenchmen are actually using them as bait after all. What the French guys don't see is the fact that the predator has dispatched all of the other riders. Tob tells her that he was only able to kill the lion by using her plan, and this inspires her to try and find a way to do the same now. Tob also gets the classic line of, "If it bleeds, we can kill it." That was awesome. The predator actually falls into the Frenchmen's trap, and they seem to have caught it for a moment. That moment is short-lived as it literally tears each of them apart. The predator literally walks right through them as though they are small blades of grass. Eventually, Naru figures out to use a nearby trap to cut their binds, and Tob goes to get them some horses while Naru goes to look for Sari. The predator, on the other hand, ends up finishing the battle with one last trick. Naru makes her way back to the French camp where she finds Sari and the rest of her belongings. As one of the men goes to kill the dog, Naru makes her presence known as she takes out every Frenchman with skill we didn't know she had. Naru's definitely certified. The whole tribe was sleeping on her earlier. I can't blame them since the one time she came up against a lion, she ended up letting a fall out of a tree take her out instead of the actual lion, but here we are. As Naru takes a second to regroup herself, one of the Frenchmen seems to be alive still, and he offers her a gun in exchange for help with his missing leg. While she applies medicine to his stump, the man gives her a quick lesson on how to load and shoot the gun. After giving the man medicine, Naru goes off to investigate a sound, and the predator shows up in camp. The man tries to play dead, and it turns out that the herb she gave him actually hid his heat signature from the predator. Naru notices this, and she plans to use this to her advantage. As for the Frenchman, just as the predator goes to leave, he steps on the man's stump, which causes him to cry out in pain. The predator kills him, and he goes to shoot Sari next. Suddenly, Tob shows up and knocks the predator's mask off. Tob is awesome. He's literally the only person to actually wound the predator. Everyone else just pokes his toe or smacks him like a little kid. Tob actually drove a spear right through it. This is the climax I've been waiting for. Once Naru jumps out to help, Tob tells her to run, and the predator runs his blades through Tob's chest. The predator turns his attention to Naru, but Tob still manages to keep fighting long enough to help Naru disappear. Naru takes a moment to wash the blood from her hands, and she rests shortly after that. When she wakes up, she sees Sari watching a man wash himself in the river. She rushes over and knocks the man out. That night, the man wakes up to find rats eating away at a stump where his right leg used to be. Naru knows that the man is underestimating her while he reloads a nearby rifle, and she eats the herb that'll hide her thermal detection. Suddenly, the predator can be heard nearby. I love it. I love Naru's growth over the course of the film. This is one of those situations where she knows that she has the skills, she just needs to hone them and prove herself. It's perfect. While the predator kills the Frenchman, Naru shoots the predator in the back of the head, which knocks off its mask. She sets the mask up in a trap, and the predator follows just like she planned. Eventually, the predator senses that it's a trap, but it's too late. Naru ambushes him from above, and she manages to deal quite a bit of damage before getting thrown off. Then Sari shows up to assist, and Naru leads the predator into multiple traps. She even has it cut its own arm off. The fight rages on, and Naru manages to rip one of its teeth and stabs it. Then she uses her Mortal Kombat tomahawk on a rope to pull the Predator into the quicksand marsh that she was stuck in earlier. This isn't enough to finish him though. Just as the Predator takes aim at her, we see that Naru is using his own mask as a targeting system that redirects his bolt to penetrate his own head. I know the movie isn't over yet, but this exceeded my expectations for sure. Usually the final climax is anticlimactic or cut short, but this was phenomenal. Naru goes back to her tribe with the head of the Predator, and she tosses a flintlock to the chief. She warns them that there's danger nearby, and she thinks that they should move to better lands. There's a ceremony to respect Naru's accomplishments, and she's made war chief just as Tob was. The tribe cheers on as she holds her new post, then the credits roll. Just wow, this was great. Still not enough to make me a Predator fan over Alien, but this is definitely one of the top 2 Predator films in my opinion. Give it a shot. Thanks for watching and I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more like this one. Comment what you think I should watch next, and I'll see you in the next video.